yeah, it's amazing that what you want to do is build those partnerships, right? If you are part-time in the business, again, if you're not going to be able to put too much time into it on your own, well then leverage other people, right? Building relationships, having talks with other people, so you can get your name out there without you needing physically to go out there. Next, let's bring up MD John Chen. Talk about the mindset for a full-time, someone who is fully into the business and that's all they do. All right, thank you, John.
All right, so a little bit about myself. I am in this full-time, okay? That's a given. But what was I doing full-time prior? So for about 30 years, I was a dental laboratory technician. I manufactured crown bridge for full mouth reconstructions and implant cases. So it was a pretty niche industry, and I was pretty good at it. And so I was able to work my way up to the top and work with really exclusive prosthodontists. But the industry started to really shift, and that's something that is completely out of your control. It's like we don't have blacksmiths on every block corner anymore. The industry shifted, right? Manufacturing techniques changed, and so it was in mine. My boss one day went to a trade show in Chicago, came back with an $80,000 milling machine, 5 axes, and a specialized laptop for it, and trained the janitor to run the software. Right? He's paid a third, a quarter what I was paid. Bottom line talks. And I saw right away a third to 2/3 of my work go to that machine. So what are you going to do? Wait to get the tap on the shoulder, or find other ways, right? So long story short, I ended up in this industry as exploring. I was a client of this company for 6 years already, so the trust and everything else was already there. I already knew what it was going to be, what it was doing for me, in protecting my family, etc., and helping me with savings. And so this was in 2013. I signed up in May. By October, I had already gone through my studying back then, and within about 2 weeks before I wrote my provincial license exam, I was laid off. Okay, so my plan was really quite short-circuited because I wanted to go part-time first. I wanted to sort of, get used to the water, and just sort of wiggle myself in a little bit, right? But suddenly I was shoved in the deep end. I continued to try to find work. What I found out was that the industry in general, not just in my office, was shifting so quickly that all the work that I was used to, I've never been out of work, okay, during that time. I always went from job to job to job to job, never collected EI. I didn't even know how that works. But all the jobs were paying about 60 to 70% what I was already being paid, and they were asking for more work and with more brutal conditions. So I went to my wife and I just talked. We prayed about it. I said, she just said, you know what? We'll tighten up what we need to do at home. You just go full time. I was really terrified. Right? I'm going full time into an industry that I had no idea how to do, coming off 3 decades of something that I was very comfortable doing. What is it like to go through that? Right? And so just to give you a little bit of a snapshot, I went through a period of time where I had to mentally and literally physically adjust to where I was now. Everything I had before that I relied on, my identity and where I felt I was strong at, was now a part of the past. That door needed to be closed, and I need to embrace where I was now. And so one of the things that I want to share with you is that a lot of people who are coming into this business full-time, they were doing something else full-time prior. And that period of time in between is very important, that you need to acknowledge that you need to go through that shift in a way that will set you up for success. What it means is this, is that acknowledge that you may need to go through a grieving period for the job that you left. That's entirely possible. That was something that I didn't really do. And because of that, I hope that you don't do what I did. I dragged out the time between I left my old job to be successful in my new job. I dragged it out longer than it needed to be. Maybe I should have seen a counselor. Maybe I should have been more open to my spouse and to the people in my office about what I was going through. I suffered alone. All right? I didn't need to do that. So if you're in that period of time, acknowledge if you needed to see someone to just talk it through. I'm available. I've been through it. Okay? But okay, so aside from that, what else do we need to do when it comes to being full-time? All right. you've heard it a few times today that this brokerage, the key point in success, this key of the success is in not just simply being a solo salesperson. You need to build a team. And so this is where the true success in this office is that you don't work for yourself. You need to be building a team because you can only sell so much. I came in very late in the game. I do not have 35 years of sales to build all that up. I need to accelerate that and build a team. That has always been my desire from the start. And so what I mean by as you are, so shall you build, right? The person that you are, you're going to attract that particular kind of person into the team. We tend to attract, the birds of a feather flock together in a sense. And you've heard Yvonne says that you are the cap of your business. So if you want a business that is going to continue to grow, you need to constantly raise that cap. And by doing that is, first of all, acknowledge that the person that you walk into this business with, the person who you are, no matter what your experience, no matter everything, all that is important, all that you used to build, that's not going to get to where you need to be. That is not going to be the person that's going to succeed in WFG as a person who's a financial professional or as a brokerage owner. What that means is you need to be open to change, a lot of change, massive change, and it's going to frighten you. It frightened me, all right? But the best things in life are outside of our comfort zone, isn't it? Mm-hmm. When was the last time you learned the greatest life lessons and never had to go through a period of suffering? Yeah. Do you learn the best lessons in life and everything was great?
No. If only.
If only, right? This isn't Winnie the Pooh world. It isn't. It's going to hurt. Right? So as you are, so shall you build. So you need to build yourself to become someone that's going to attract the kind of people that you can build a strong business with. If you're a needy person, you're going to find needy people. And you're going to have a business that's going to be needy all the time, and it's going to drive you nuts. If you're a micromanager that you obsess over people, you control people, well, you're going to find the same kind of people, or the people who's going to be wanted to be micromanaged, and you're going to go crazy. They'll never be independent. So you need to build yourself to a point where it's like, my weaknesses have to be either overcome, compensated, or eliminated. You have to figure out which it's going to be. You're not going to become perfect. Nobody is. So you're going to have to either compensate, overcome, or find someone to run alongside of you. Right? Steve Jobs, he didn't build Apple all by himself on one desk. He surrounded himself with a team of people. Bill Gates is famous for saying that. He didn't do well in school, so what did he do? He created Microsoft and hired all the people who did well in the university, the engineers, right? That's what he did. You ask yourself, why do you need to succeed? Why do you need to make money here? People say, I just want to make money. I said, no, money is about everything other than the money. It's about what you want to do with it. So why do you want to be here? You have to clarify that, crystallize that, and be able to communicate it with people so that you can give them a reason to want to come in. And you also have to be able to help them see the same thing. And as a full-timer, I think the one thing that has been the most influential in my success here is the uncompromising commitment to being here at the office, being here at the meetings. Because if you don't, you're not building. You're not building your mind. You're not building your skill set. You're not building your ability to communicate. And a lot of times it's not sitting. I don't think I learned most of what I needed to grow in the business sitting in a meeting like this. Yes, we do learn a lot, but it's in those moments where it's like two people pass by each other, they say a thing here or two, and I'm walking by a room and I saw Yvonne or Ray teaching someone about a product or how they went through a difficult meeting, and I'm just kind of sitting in there, Can I sit in? Ask for permission, all right? And just sit there. And that's where you learn the majority of your skills and building your confidence. Build strong relationships in this office. And I mean it. You got to build strong relationships in this office. Be willing to be vulnerable and be bold to ask. Because your success is not a solo project. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes an office to raise a financial professional and a business owner. There's no ways around it. You cannot be a lone ranger. You know, you just simply can't. You know, it's like we're a kind of office where we have the freedom to look after each other, which means sometimes we have the hard conversations. Okay? Are you willing to allow people to have hard conversations with you? Okay? It's easy for us to sit down in a room of 10 coworkers and say, oh, you know, that person, if they only change this, this, and that, they would be so much better at what they do. If this person would just tune this habit or eliminate that tip that they have, they can really improve. It's easy for us to see where other people can improve, but you cannot do that for yourself. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and then you were able to sort your own problems out? We are communal creatures. If you have people that are willing, that you allow to speak into your life, you'll find that you're able to grow a lot faster and a lot more objectively. Right? I can share with other people where I think that they can grow and they're appreciative, but am I willing to let them talk to me the same way? So you got to remember to build these trusted relationships and have strength. Have confidence in your office to back you up, right? I said to Cecilia, she came by the office. Oh, I got this call. This client says this. I'm not ready. I said, just say yes. Just say yes. Get off. Just say yes and get off the phone. And then figure out how to do it. You know why I can say that? That's not reckless. It's because this office, time and time again, will stand with you, stand beside you, and say, this is what you need to do. Just say yes, and we'll figure it out. Right? We've always figured it out. Right?
Build the plane on the way down, right?
Yes, someone said to me, said, what's it like to be an entrepreneur? I said, you know, it's a lot like marriage as well. It's like, you know, you grab a person, you grab some materials, and then you throw everything off the cliff. You jump off the cliff, and then you're working your way on the way down, and you get that plane up and running on the way down. And that's how entrepreneurship is that you're never going to have all the answers. You're never going to have all your structures in place. It's a process. It's a process that you do with people. And there are times when you sort of like, you got to reduce certain things, but it is a process. You know, so that the goal is to build a team, and you build your skills along the way. We not just simply are here to learn how to sell and to be able to help founders, but we need to also be here to grow a team. So then by the time you are in a place where you want to sit back and do other things, you've got to be able to have that team in place to have your income, right? I mean, really, it's like if you had 10 people on your team that did exactly what you did the last month, or had the same attitude towards your business the last month, what would your team look like? Would it drive you crazy? Would you be happy? Would you say high five everybody and say we hit a new high, right? So that's why it's like goes back to the first one. As you are, so shall you build. So not only are you looking for for building the best version of yourself, but how are you acknowledging your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you need to compensate, and actively pursuing those. Right? We cannot be all things to all people. Now, in closing, I know we're running a little bit over time. Now that you're full-time, what you really need to remember to cultivate the core characteristics that you want your team to have. You can't give away what you don't have. You can't expect someone to develop characteristics and habits that you haven't demonstrated within your own business. Are you always late? Do you skip meetings when you don't feel like it? Right? Do you make a phone call, or do you promise that you're going to be there to help with a project, and then the last minute something always seems to come up? Right? People pick up on those patterns, and eventually you get the reputation that you're simply not reliable. Do you keep your word? So cultivate those things that you want your team to have within yourself, so that you can say, you have the moral authority to say, this is what I'm doing for you. What are you bringing to the table? How are you also doing the same thing? Because you want them to have the ability to build a team. Right? So, those are just some of the things that, most of it we've already talked about. The things that you do in a pre-licensing, part-time, is very much the same as when you do full-time. It's just expanded more, and you're doing it more during the day. we got to talk about, Celia talked about scheduling. Very important when you're full-time. When you get up in the morning, do you sort of just meander into the day, or do you attack it intentionally? If I'm not actually at an appointment, etc., I'm always trying to find a way to get myself in front of people, get myself in front of groups, find people who are influential, right? Visit businesses on a regular basis. Like, instead of going to half a dozen different businesses to save 3% on your total bill, pick the same person time and time again, week in, week out, month in, month out, because that you didn't save that extra 5% shopping in 3 or 4 different places, but you build a relationship, and that's how I have built relationships with business owners who have eventually become my clients. You are here all the time. I can trust you, right? So that we can have other conversations. So, we've heard a lot today. You hear there's no way we can cover everything all at once, but at the end of the day, wherever you're at, find somebody in the office that you say, you know what, I'd like to hear more about what you said today. I need someone to mentor me or whatever. Say, if I have a case and I can't get my mentor, would you be willing to talk to me, go with me, etc. Build relationships. That's really the core of what it means to be full-time, part-time, and even pre-licensing. Okay? Have a great day.
Cool.